Are we gonna keep crashing on this thing right here? Or are we rebounding soon? Or alright guys, so this is my take on it. So if you notice, we started really Bitcoin really started right in this base right here. That's where Bitcoin actually started breaking out, right on this day right here, October 21st. Good volume coming in, and then I'm using two moving averages, 21st and the 50, and from there, I mean, you can see that Bitcoin, the chart of Bitcoin, like respected the 21st and the 50 since there, right here. Make a base, another base, bounding right over the 21st, another breakout, another volume, and then it just kept going up and up and up. And then right here we had like a medium pullback to the 50 actually instead of the 21st, all the way. Make a slight cup and a handle right here. I can draw it right here, barely a cup and a handle, but you see what I'm talking about. And then from there we kept going all the way. We kept pushing higher and higher. An uptrending chart, nothing wrong with it. And almost right here we made another like VCP pattern, volatility contraction pattern right here. And then we broke out, and then we just pulled right back in here. So the first sign actually for that chart that it's telling you something's going on, it would be that right here. It would have been this candle right here, right, this candle, which is the 18th of April. So that's a fake out, and that's a failed breakout. Yeah, the good VCP pattern right here, volatility contraction pattern. And what I mean by that is the volatility was, if you see the volatility from here to here was like what, 14%. So from the bottom, you can even draw it from the bottom here, from the bottom of this candle, the low of that candle, all the way to that resistance right here. And then you can draw it again from here to here. That's a volatility contraction pattern. So that means that there's no sellers, and it did broke out, but it did fail. So that would have been your first sign that the stock, the chart is like it's taking its time, plus that volume right there that comes along with it. So that's your first sign. As far as I'm concerned, to be honest with you, like from what I've seen, stocks and charts, I mean, and cryptos, I think the best stops, to be honest with you, if you follow the last low, and if you have any violation of that last low, I think it would have been a great guide for you. So let's go back right here. Let's say we broke out here, and let's say you put in, just for God's sake, you put in you put a stop loss right, for example, last low right in here, and then oh, didn't work. Let's say you put in your stop was right here, all right, and then you let the stock move all the way, and then you can take some profit, whatever. I'm not talking about like the whole strategy. I'm just talking about like what do you think the stock, if what is the chart is telling you as far as the trend probably is over and all that. I'm not talking about like you can take profit whatever you want, but if you let the chart do its thing and then show you its way, right here when we made that last low right here, you can use that as a low. You can move your stop. I'm just giving like a picture here. I'm not talking specifics. I'm just talking broad. And then you can see that we made another low here, but this low right here did not violate that low. What I mean by that is we did not come down and starting to close below that last low. We made a low, and you can even draw another VCP pattern right here. So that there's a lot of volatility here. I mean, not a lot, but comparing to this one, there's a lot less volatility than this one. All right. So, and then we broke out, and then so you can use, like I said, that or a low right here. That's a low, and then you can use, since we had a breakout, you can use that low here if you want. So let's move our stop right there. So I'm just giving here the broad the general explanation why I think, for me, as far as I'm concerned, from any chart you can use, that last low usually when it's violated, it gives you a good idea that the trend is over. And then you let the chart do its thing, and then and then you can probably use either that one, but the reason why I wouldn't put it here is you can if you want to take profit, but usually you wanna see the chart when it makes a low like that. You wanna let it go up, make another high. Let's say make another high before you move your stop, like from here or from here to here. And then since the chart didn't make a new high, you let it make that last low, which is right in here. So we made a low here, we made a low, we made a low, and then we're starting to break out. So that when we made a new high, that's where we can move your stop. You can use it here or here, whatever you want, but usually you want to follow what the chart is giving you, and then you keep going again. And then again here, right here, we made a high, previous high, and then you can use that last stop right here. Alright, so we've been following the whole trend since the beginning from here, and then where we stopped at. So we made a high, we put our stop loss here, you let the chart do its thing, and then we made a low, but we didn't make a new high. See, we have to break that high right here, right this area. You can see that we did actually broke out in this area right here, and then you can move that last low from either here or here, whatever you like. And then by the time you do that, everything looks fine right here up to this moment. And we've been you notice that the chart been respecting the first pullback. It did respect the 21 here, respected the 50 here. It was right in between. Here was right in between. And then when we made that when we put that stop loss that we talked about, so you can put it here or here, whatever you like. If you want to follow the trend a little bit more, you could have probably placed it here, because you want to give it a wiggle room for the price to go to push a little higher. If you were like conservative, you want to like you can put a tight stop loss. You can use it here. So either way, once you get that last low violated right here, you're probably gonna be kicked out. Let's see. You're gonna be kicked out because your last low got violated and get hits right here. And like I said before, so that would have been your first sign would have been actually you have a breakout, you had a VCP pattern, and you had a breakout on a decent volume right here, but the stock just rolled back. So that's your first sign, and then your second sign is it did touch and break and close below that low and that low. So that's your first sign. So usually for me, that's how I know like the stock, the trend is over. There's something going on with it, and then if you follow the chart, the price rebound back and trying to break that resistance that we had in here, which is the 60,500, give or take. It did try it, and then you could even bought it back. This is like a reversal candle right in here, but you notice that with this candle right here, it gives you the confirmation that the Bitcoin did not could not have the bull power to break that previous resistance that we had here. So right here, this is a good confirmation that something's happening and the trend is over. So you have multiple signs, and you notice that we're starting to close below the 50 moving average, which is the red line. And yeah, so there's multiple signs and flags that usually chart will tell you. And yeah, so from there, what's happening now, you can see that the 50 moving average, and then when we were in a bull market all this period, and actually we did really we went really nice from that resistance all the way to here, 416%. That's quite a run in a short period of time. How much we did? So let's say we broke out right in here, and then we started to fade, and we violated that that last low right in here, which is 182 days. I mean 400% in that in less than a year. That's quite a lot. In less than a year, that's a lot. Anyway, so where we're standing right now, like I said, notice that the 50 moving average flipped right above it. So that's obvious. That's kind of like a late signal for you to tell that oh, we are we are in a bear market right now for this chart right here, and so the trend is over. And then so what's happening? So what's the next move? Next move simply is you want to actually wait for the price to starting to close in all time frames, starting with the 1 hour, starting the 4 hours. Usually I look at the 1 hour and then I look at the 4 hours. You want it to close above the 21 and then use that as a support, and then close above the 50 and use that as a support. That's it. There's nothing fancy. There's whatever news is gonna come out is gonna move it. It's gonna move it. But right now, what we're seeing, there's nothing going on. Nothing's happening. So like I said, so you can use so simply. I want to make it as simple as possible. Where we were going up, the chart, the price was above the 21 and the 50, the green and the red. Now we had multiple signs, like I discussed before, that gives us a sign that the chart, something's happening, something's changing in the trend. And then after that, we had the 50 starting to go and ride above the 21. All right. Now here we were using the 21 and the 50 as a support. Now the 21 and the 50, they're gonna act as a resistance. So every time we come close to the 21, it might get rejected. Once we start, like I said, closing above the 21 on a 1 hour, starting the 1 hour and then 24 and then 4 hours, whatever chart you have, 6 hours or 12 hours. Once you start closing above those and then not getting rejected and using those as a support, that's when you will have signs, just like we had here right before the trend starting to crack. Those are the things going to tell you something is changing and the bull's starting to come and save Bitcoin. All right. So as far as how far we can go down, I mean, usually when I look at the chart, I use the previous resistance. So let's say we had, like I said before here, we had VCP. We kind of like we bounced right over the 50, and you can see that we had a little bit of resistance right in here. So you can see the chart when it pulled back, it touched once, touched three times, and then the volatility contracted right in these days, and then we broke. All right, so you can tell so you can use that as a resistance. And I think you know that support becomes resistance and resistance becomes support. So that's how you look at it. And usually I will look at the previous support. Let's say we were coming down right in here. So first thing I want to look at to the left, and you look at that resistance. We had a resistance here and we had a support. So those are usually the potentials where the stock could actually come back and see some support from the bulls. Or you can use Fibonacci, and then you can play with it. You can use there's no such way that it's right or wrong, but that every single trader has a different view. We can argue, and that's what actually makes the market. You say it's a bull, I say it's bear, and that's totally normal. So since we had right in front of our eyes, we have the stock, the Bitcoin bounces right over that resistance, and it actually tested the low, even that right here with this big candle. The next one that I could think of is 20,000 right here. So right, which comes actually right with that resistance, and you can see it. We had that run, and then we stopped right here. We came back. We tried to do it, couldn't do it, and then we bounced right back here, and then we broke with a great volume, right? And so that's the resistance. So on the way back down, we can use that as a support. And then where's the next one's going to be at? Which is going to be right at the 12,000. So we can, and I know that the chart of crypto is like more volatile actually, especially when we had these wicks. So it doesn't mean we're gonna come right exactly at the 20,000. We're gonna bounce. I mean, it can come back and flush all the way below here, like it actually did happen here. And I did tweet about it when I said I don't remember what price I said, but when I run the Fibonacci and I saw the previous support and resistance. So basically, support and resistance, that's all you need. You don't need fancy indicators or anything like that. If you know how to read chart, support and resistance, look at to the left, few moving averages if you want to. Some people, I know that they're really good at it and they don't even use moving averages. Look at those support and you can tell where the chart, where the price could really have a good bounce. So moving forward, so far overall on the daily, looking bearish. There's nothing bullish about it. Breaking it down to the 4 hours, and you can see I already draw some support and resistance right in here. So that's with these lines that I draw, you can have a great idea on where the stock have some rejections. So you can agree with me that we came up here and we got rejected a couple of times here, and then we moved sideways and we're starting to break, and then came back, bounced over here, and then we broke that. So you can agree with me that this could be this was a resistance, and then when we came down, we went right back to it, and then we got rejected. So that's why I draw that first resistance right in here. And then after that, even on the 4 hours, all the moving averages flipped. So the right one, the red one, the 50 was above the 21, and so forth and so on. And then when we got rejected, usually when you have a down to the a movement to the downside, you will have almost like an L shape. So you're coming down this way, and then you're moving sideways. It's basically so of time instead of price. So you have this digestion in price, in time, and then you have another one that's, so you have your breakdown and you have digestion on price movement. So it's going to go like that. So it's going to retest the high of that candle and then going to get rejected. So here we had a L-shaped one. You can see it right there. So we have a digestion in time instead of price. And then here you can see that we touched here second time, third time, and then we broke. Volume comes in, and then we moved almost. Actually, we had a digestion in price. You can see that when we broke here, we went all the way. We couldn't close above the high of that candle, and then we got rejected. So you see the idea. And then from there we keep going lower and lower and lower, and then and as I said again, on the 4 time frame, let me move this. On the 4 hour time frame, we were using the price of Bitcoin. We're using the green line, which is a 21, as a resistance. It couldn't. That means it couldn't break above it. Every time we come close to it, we get rejected. There's another candle that we got rejected. So, and then another one, we got rejected big time right in here, and then we moved sideways. It was some attempt right here for the Bitcoin to bounce, but you want to see it, like I said, starting to close above the 21, and then we failed right here. Here's another attempt right now, and I'm gonna go down below to the 1 hour to see what's happening. So another attempt right now to for Bitcoin to go higher. You can even put a downtrend here, but usually I just use them. You can use anything you want, but I like to make it as simple as possible. So the 4 hour frame, there is no confirmation that the like I said before, that the price of Bitcoin is starting to break on a 21 moving average. That would have been your first sign. That would give me an indication that something's changing before I move on to the daily, because daily will override the 4 hour or the 6 hours, and then so forth and so on. Weekly will override the daily. So breaking this down more to that 1 hour, if I keep my my lines here, you'll see really clean chart. Let me take all this out with this support and resistance. How this chart actually is moving. If you understand how a chart is moving, you will be a really everything will be clear to you. Okay, So every time we come close, now we broke down to the 1 hour instead. Before, when the 4 hours, we were using the price of Bitcoin was using the 21 as a resistance. Now we moved down to the 1 hour. You can see how it's using now the 50. Simple math. And every time we're not even, we try to close above it in here, which is good, but we got rejected. Every time you get rejected like that, there's something's going on right here. Actually, I was looking at it right in here, and I thought something's happening, something is changing here. But I saw that, I'm like, and then it made an attempt here, because everything can happen. I mean, it doesn't mean we're in a downtrend. Anything can happen, especially with Bitcoin. Like in a fraction of a second, anything can happen. But when I saw this big candle got rejected again a third time, so it was first time, second time, and then third time, I said, we're still nothing's happening. And then we attempted right here one more time. So we attempted, we reversed right in this candle, right in here. Right here? We tried to reverse, but like I said, so this was a support, right? For this, when we came down, we had that support floor first time, second time, and then we broke it. We went down, and then we came back to test it. We got rejected first time, second time, third time. So that would have been your resistance now. And then so forth and so on. And then when we got reversed, when we made that move down, so next question would have been, okay, if the you always want to ask these questions like, okay, if the stock did this should happen. If this happened, that should happen. So when we moved down, that would have been your resistance. So in order for things to start changing, you would think that your next question should be, okay, we have to break and starting to close on that time frame, whatever you're looking at, starting to close above it. So we tried to do that, and we came back here. So look how that 50 moving average, like it's been resistance on the 1 hour time frame. And then as soon as I saw that right here, yeah, actually it was yesterday, I was looking at the chart, and I saw the price action starting to drift lower instead of holding higher. Because I thought for a second, I knew this has to be the resistance for something to happen, but I was kind of like hopeful that it will break that 50 moving average. But I saw the price action movement here starting to drift lower, and I said, and it's something still fishy. But as soon as, for me, that was like when I saw that starting to close below some key level point right in here, I knew something. It's still not ready for that move higher. And then actually we accelerated, boom. So you notice something every time we break a key level point. Like here, we had a touch here, second time, third time, fourth time. Once you break that, you accelerate to that side, either move to the upper or to the lower side. Same thing happened here. Here 1, 2, 3, and then we got rejected. And fourth, we had a rebound here. Once we broke it, came back, retested that resistance, that support, and then we broke a lot lower. Now things are clear. And you would think now, okay, what is your resistance? What is the potential rejection? Potential rejection should be right on that block line, which is going to be what? It's going to be a resistance, which is going to come along with the 21 moving average, and then the 50 moving average, and so forth and so on. And then you have your key support right there. So that's your next move, and I think we're gonna probably move down to the 50. I mean to the 30,000 level if we didn't get any movement that's gonna save Bitcoin. So if I move this to the 4 hour, put this like that, 30,000 is gonna come all the way right at that support. You see it 20. It's not going to be really perfect. There's nothing perfect number that's going to hit it and come right back up. So 30,000, 29,000 give or take, and you can see that with that big wick, and then over here as well, right here, 31,000, 29,000 give or take. It's average of 30,000. On the 4 hour time frame right now, we're seeing almost a reverse candle. If this stayed right here and closed above it, that's a good sign that that something's probably developing, but there is nothing for sure yet. Pushing that to the 1 hour frame. So like I said before, we know our resistance, our support and resistance, so we could expect some people might try to short Bitcoin once we start hitting that support right there. But like I said, once you start closing above it with some decent volume coming in, and you notice here, look how the average volume on the red average volume coming down comparing to that low volume. But again, anything can happen. Next thing you want to watch now is your 21. You want to start closing above it for the bullish side, getting rejected. One of these candles if it gets rejected, that's still that means we're still gonna going back down, further down. All right. If I push down, even though I don't like to look at it all the time, because the 15-minute, yeah, we're starting to close above the 21, but I mean we did here a couple times, but it's not. That's why I like to look at the 1 hour more. It's more consistent for me than the 15. Yeah, but like I said, you can, since we have our what was that? We had our 35,000. That's give or take. That's support right there. Once you start having some price action here and starting to close above it, and then you move it to the 1 hour for things to clear up for you, and then see if we have any rejection or approval for the price. All right, that's my take on it. If something develop again, I'll post another video and see what's happening. All right, take care. Thank you. Bye bye.